Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime live from our studio here in Kokomlemle in Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up, police to flood Asen North with 800 armed police officers in a bid to forestall violence before, during and after the crucial by-election. We have the latest from the constituency as the EC concludes balloting for 4 candidates. Also, the Office of the Special Prosecutor says it does not need a warrant to arrest any person it suspects to have committed a corruption offense. This comes after High Court restrained the OSP from arresting Secretary of the defunct Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu. Also coming up here, Minority on Works and Housing Committee laments the high cost of housing units being constructed by the State Housing Company. We have details as MD of the company defends their pricing, insisting that it is only the way they can stay competitive in the face of all challenges. Let's move to the Asen North, where ahead of the crucial by-election, 800 armed police officers are to be stationed to the Asen North constituency in a bid so that no one loses a strip of hair before, during and after the crucial by-election. Director of Electoral Services at the EC, Dr. Boku, also indicated that contact and engagement have been held with the political parties to ensure a peaceful election. He spoke to Evans Mensah on PM Express.
I want to use a platform to express the appreciation of the Commission to the IGP. For Kumawu, he was there in person, and I could count more than 150 motorbikes. So the place was flooded with the police and their facilities and the rest. That's why we realized that the place was peaceful. And as I speak to you, I was in Western North over the weekend, and I met the regional commander. I don't know the rank, but he's called Tekuju. He's the regional commander there. And he's also a nice guy. And the assurance was that they are bringing no less than 800 police people there. So if you are bringing 800, the place has 99 police institutions. So it means that one police station may have an average of about 8 police persons. So we are hoping that the security will be beefed up and we have peaceful election. The most important thing is that nobody should lose a strip of the hair, because we are going to vote for somebody. So we are already in contact with them, discussing the way the election could be conducted peacefully. And we also appeal to all stakeholders that they should go there, do the right things, they should do what they are supposed to do, so that you don't infringe on the law, so that you have an issue to do with the law after the by-election. It will not be in anybody's interest.
An important player in this will be the political parties themselves. Of course, you met the police, they give me assurances. Do you plan to meet the parties before?
I think I've said it already, that as part of the program, there will be a RIPAC meeting at the regional level, and there will be a DAPAC meeting at the district level. I have the timetable, but I don't have it now with me. So they will meet them. There's no way we can have an election without
meeting the parties to try and get all of you on the same page on this going into the by-election.
Now, the EC has also concluded balloting for 4 candidates, including James Jache Kwesen of the NDC, Charles Opoku of the MPP, Sefanu Bernes Enyonam of the LPG, and Abedu Agatha as independent candidate. Following the balloting, the MPP's Charles Opoku is at the top of the ballot, followed by the LPG's Sefanu Bernes Enyonam. The NDC's James Jache Kwesen is in 3rd position, followed by the independent candidate. Now, let's move on to the phone lines now and speak to the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gbande. Grateful to you for joining us now. We know that balloting has concluded. How is the campaign shaping up for you in the NDC, and what do you make of the position of your candidate on the ballot?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mustafa.
Right. So I think that we are very comfortable with the number 3 on the ballot. It's a good number. It's more visible and it can be identified by our voters. What is more important, like I indicated earlier, is that in Kumawu, the IGP and the leadership of the Ghana Police Service were there to supervise the election. We would want to believe that we would have a similar commitment in Asin North as far as policing and security is concerned. We want to have a free, fair, credible, and transparent election. And that election must and should be free of violence, should be free of any form of intimidation and acts that offends the Republic, the laws of the Republic of Ghana. As far as the IGP gives us that assurance, which I believe he will, I believe that come 27th, the NDC's Honorable Jechikwesin will be retained in Parliament.
Now, we understand some 8,000 police officers would be dispatched to Asin North to help, gather the election to ensure that there's peace during and after the election. Are you satisfied with this arrangement?
I'm confident that the issue of personnel deployment is not necessarily about the numbers. We had the numbers, but government systems, government machineries were able to infiltrate and then flood the place with hoodlums and people who are unrecognized by law to participate in the election. Asin North is a very peaceful community. We would expect a very peaceful election. And so deployment should be one that can contain the anticipated or prevailing security threat in the area. And so we will not say that the number 800 is enough or is less. But as long as
okay, I think we're losing Mustafa Bande there. Now also joining us is the Communications Director of the MPP, Richard Anyagba. Grateful for joining us. Your candidate is number 1 on the ballot. What does this mean to you as a party in the election?
Well, thank you very much. I think that we're quite happy with the number 1. And it's a number that
right, so
we will be able to canvass the people and show them to vote number 1 on election day. So we're quite happy with the number we have picked to be the first on the ballot.
And what do you make of the security arrangement put in place by authorities?
Well, as I was saying earlier in the previous interview, I think that security begins with all of us. And so the ultimate peace that we seek will come from all of us acting peaceful. And so we on the MPP side, we're committed to doing so. We expect same from the NDC. You can have a million police officers here, but if people purpose not to be peaceful, you won't have a peaceful election. So we've had that commitment right from Kumawu. We insisted that's how we're going to operate. We expect that the NDC will behave similarly. And if we're all peaceful, I don't see where violence will come from. So we're quite ready for a peaceful election. I disagree with my brother seriously to say that they will win this election. I think that they are not reading the mood of the people right, because the people feel they've been dealt a raw deal by an individual who came to lie to them. And so on account of that lie, they won't repeat the same thing. So they need to go back and read the mood of the people very well, and then understand that they've lost this election before the first ballot is cast, because they've dealt the people a raw deal. We're here in Asin North primarily because the NDC shepherded Jechikwesin through a process that barred anybody from contesting him and forced him on the people. And when he was going around campaigning, the chiefs and people kept asking him, "Are you sure you have renounced your your citizenship?" He said, "Yes," only to be found out that he didn't. And if he did it last minute and did not complete the process, and that is not acceptable according to the law. So we're here to help the people make the right decision. And we see that message resonate very strongly on the ground. And we're confident of winning the election on the 27th.
Thank you, Mr. Ihaba, for joining us here. Now, still staying in the elections, former Electoral Commission boss, Dr. Kojo Afari-Gyan, is warning that maintaining too many coalition stages in Ghana's electoral process could create room for tampering with election results. The Electoral Commission introduced regional coalition centers across all 16 regional offices during the 2020 general elections to collate results from all constituencies for onward transmission to the national headquarters. Dr. Afari-Gyan, however, thinks that this was a needless adventure that could possibly create room for result manipulation, calling on the EC to scrap it. There's more in the following report. Speaking at the 60th anniversary celebration of the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, former chair of Ghana's Electoral Commission, Dr. Kojo Afari-Gyan, reviewed the creation of regional coalition centers across all 16 regional offices to collate results for onward transmission to the national headquarters of the EC could create room for manipulations. He is therefore entreating the EC to ditch the regional coalition to safeguard the integrity of our elections.
So it is not desirable to set up many coalition points in the resource management process. Each coalition center represents a point where results can be corrupted, willfully or through mistakes. Also, the more collating points there are in the resource management process, the more difficult it is to track changes in results.
But justifying the Electoral Commission's position, Director of Electoral Services at the EC, Boku, says the regional coalition centers were introduced to make the EC's work easier.
All the 275 constituency results will have to be tallied, but bringing all of them to national was a bit cumbersome. So we said now the results will always pass through the region. Then let the regions also do their collation. So that at national, you only collate 16 results. And that makes the regional work simpler. So we now transfer the results from the constituencies to the region.
Sharing his thought on enhancing electoral processes in Ghana, former national chairman of the MPP, Peter McMenu, called for the scrapping of the guarantor system because it is encouraging cheat.
I firmly believe that the use of other means, like the guarantee system, is fraught with violence at the polling station, and we should not encourage that in this modern technological era.
The Asantehene Otunfo said to the second has initiated processes to help end the Boku chieftaincy dispute. The feuding factions in the area have already honored separate invitations by the Mensha Palace. The conflict, which has persisted for decades, has resulted in loss of lives and property, stifling development in the area. Daniel Jima has more in the following report.
Research by the West African Network for Peace Building indicates 23 lives were lost in Boku conflict between January 31st and February 10th, 2023. Early this year, the installation of a new chief sparked violent disturbances in the area. Though efforts have been made in the past, including the deployment of military to solve the conflict, there have been no positive results yet. The Asantehene, as part of an intervention, has met the parties separately to let down their weapons. The Otunfo spoke about the mediation efforts when the Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, paid a courtesy call on him. I am still on the Boku issue. I have called all factions separately, in peace and in truth. We will sit and listen to the issues. Both factions will be allowed to speak out, so we solve the issues. Already, I have spoken to the leaders of the factions and other relevant persons. Some have submitted documents to be studied, so we will look into all of that. We will all sit in one room and solve the issues. I have asked them to lay down their weapons. In 2019, Asantehene helped resolve the 16-year-old Dagbon chieftaincy dispute. Chieftaincy Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng revealed about 70% of community disturbances are traced to chieftaincy issues. He has welcomed the Asantehene's intervention in the Boku conflict.
The money and the resource we are pumping into these areas is incredible. I've seen bills that we send police officers to go and separate the warring factions, and the bills that come after they've left. Even it's incredible. These are money that we could use to develop and help the youth mostly. So we want to bring down the disputes, the number of disputes drastically. So I have segregated them into the short term and the medium and the long term. There are some which are long term, and the dispute has gone on for so long. The others that we can nib it in the bud very quickly, and then we have peace. So for Tumfor to take over, especially Boku, for us as a government, we are very, very happy. The president has given the go-ahead, and I have also been supportive. And for today, publicly, has even told us how he's met the factions, and at some of the meetings he will call me to witness what's going on. But we leave it to him. He has the wisdom, he has the knowledge, he understands the issues so well, and he has the capacity to bring the warring factions. I'm very happy. It's taking the pressure off the government a bit and off my shoulders as well, and I trust he can bring peace to Boku.
For Joy News.
Now, Chieftaincy Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng joins us live on this development. Grateful to you for joining us, sir. From the information that have been provided to you and from where you sit, how soon can we say that this conflict will end?
Thank you very much. It's been refreshing news for all of us to know that steps are being taken to find lasting peace. And I thank the Otumfor Asantehene. Thank the President of the National House of Chiefs. Don't forget the institutions that I'm dealing with, and they're all involved, and Otumfor has been given the go-ahead. And I also thank the Nairi in Mampurugu Kingdom. I thank the Bokunaba, my own brother Bugrago Azoka. I thank every party in this whole matter. But what I can say is that it's not something that we are driving too fast or slow. It depends on the pace that they all agree on something. And that's why I cannot say how quickly or how long. I'm hoping it can be short. But don't forget, this conflict has gone on for so long. It's deep-rooted. There are deep-seated positions taken. But so far, they've been very good in listening to us, especially me when I travel to the two sides. And as Otumfor himself also said, he's also invited the two sides and even gone on to meet the Mampurusis in the Boku enclave and some key stakeholders. And so far, it's been quiet on that front. We hope it can happen quickly. I had originally thought that by the first quarter of next year, we should have them almost agreeing to something. But from now on, I don't control the levers anymore. And I don't intend to do that. Chieftaincy matters are best left for the tradition, the chieftaincy institution to deal with it. And who better than Otumfor the Asantehene to handle it? He has the capacity and the wisdom and the respect of the other chiefs to listen to him.
Does it mean you are not able to, or you won't be able to meet your first quarter of next year target?
Well, as I said, don't rely on politicians too much on chieftaincy matters. The perception out there is that we are sometimes not too clear what we want. I'm a local person. Don't forget, I was a local government minister. I listen a lot. Mm-hmm. And when you go down, they tell you, I said, you relax. We know how to handle it. The chiefs, they tell me.
So I mean, with where the Otumfuo has gotten to, and with what you also have, available to you, is it that you're able to achieve that first quarter of next year target, or you think it might travel beyond it?
It might. Don't assess deep rooted for a while. Don't compared to the Dagbon one. Dagbon was one family. I mean, don't forget from one family here or two gigs. There are two separate tribal groups and also land matters and all that. So I cannot put time limit. I wish that it can be by the first quarter of next year. But that's my wish. I will provide the facilities if they are needed. But let's leave the time limit to Otumfuo's intervention. That's what I would say. Let's leave it to wisdom. Government is grateful to him, and government is grateful to the National House of Chiefs. And we employ all parties to calm down and let the guns stop making noise, basically. Lay down the arms.
Okay.
We have to judge up. Okay. It doesn't matter how long it goes. We have to sit down and talk anyway. So why kill before we talk? Let's talk now.
Okay. Grateful to you for joining us. That's Stephen Asamoah-Boateng. He is the Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister. Now, tomato sellers at the famous Techiman Central Market in the Bono East region are lamenting the negative effect of the Boku conflict on their trade. Queen Mother of the Techiman Tomato Sellers Association, Nana Sewa Bonsu, says the conflict is adversely affecting their businesses as traders who travel to Burkina Faso through Boku risk losing their lives en route to their destinations. Correspondent Anas Sabet has been speaking with some of them and has come through with this report.
Boku has over the years been an important trading center due to the fact that it is close to two major borders, Togo and Burkina Faso. However, the recent Boku conflicts has scared many investors away from the once vibrant trading center. The effects of this seemingly unending conflict has gone beyond the borders of Boku, as tomato sellers at the famous Techiman Central Market who travel to Burkina Faso through Bupe say the conflict is slowly putting them out of business as these traders risk losing their lives en route to their destination. Nana Sewa Bonsu is the Queen Mother of the Techiman Tomato Sellers Association. The Boku conflict has affected us in diverse ways. Our trading counterparts up north are relocating to the south, and we have to risk traveling through Boku to Burkina Faso for tomatoes. Mama Faustina Donko on her part tells me that with the current happenings in the Boku enclave, the only thing that motivates them to embark on this risky trip is the current economic challenges within the country. If not for the economic crisis we are currently going through, we wouldn't have been embarking on this dangerous journey. When you watch the happenings on TV, you wouldn't risk traveling there because even the Boku indigenes are moving out of the town. So we are appealing to government to intervene for peace to prevail. Until we return from our trip, we are always not at peace. Aside the difficulties the Boku conflict brings to these traders, the high cost of fuel prices at the pumps is also compounding to their economic woes. Ifia Wuswa is a tomato seller here. She wants government to intervene by reducing the prices of petroleum products at the pumps.
Sikasu ni system so bi di beba betade. Enti yesra bali bebre say. Wanti diesel so mani mamla fom. Na yeso
The high cost of diesel is collapsing our businesses. The prices of tomato is now high due to the cost of petroleum products. So we are appealing to government to come to our aid because we pay a lot of duty when we go to Burkina Faso, and this is honestly collapsing our tomato trade. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Teachman.
As you're watching Joy News Prime, we'll take a quick break. We're back with more. Welcome back from the break. Now, the minority on the Works and Housing Committee say the prices of a housing unit constructed by the State Housing Company is so high, the average Ghanaian and the middle class cannot afford to buy. The prices for various development undertaken by the State Housing Company and inspected by the committee range from 800,000 cedis to 1.1 million cedis around Adenta and Amrehia. Some members believe this may be too much for many Ghanaians. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante reports.
The State Housing Company says it is doing all it can to support government's agenda of bridging Ghana's housing deficit. With their many developments around Adenta, the company says is providing affordable yet quality houses for all. State Housing Company Managing Director Kwabena Ampofo-Appiah has been providing details of the company's plan to complete what they call Little London or the SHC Gardens, despite some legal controversies.
So as you can see, this place looks abandoned and is very unkempt. It has actually been abandoned since around 2012, thereabout. There were a lot of legal issues surrounding this development that necessitated a lot of investigations by the security agencies. And then finally, we've been able to have the go-ahead to be able to get back onto site, finish it, and then give it back to Ghanaians who would be interested.
At its urban premier court and legacy court, all in Adenta, they have 3 and 4 bedroom houses, which is not yet complete, but almost sold out. In Amrahia, they have 3 and 4 bedroom houses, which are going for 800,000 and 950,000 cedis respectively. But minority spokesperson on Works and Housing, Vincent Opon-Samoa, says so many Ghanaians simply cannot afford to buy such homes.
Looking at the search and the price that they are quoting, I wonder the number of people that will be able to come here. But it's surprisingly telling us that the searches are almost off. They've sold.
The question I wanted to ask, affordability. This is 950,000 Ghana cedis. How many Ghanaian? How many?
I have not had such money in my account throughout my entire life. I've never had such a money. So that should tell you I will not be able to buy.
Chairman of the committee, Isaac Kwame Esiama, is also concerned about the prices of the housing units, but says the current management of the State Housing Company must be commended for lifting the company from ruins.
As MPs, we are concerned about the costs, obviously. It's about the cost. Because if you look at the catchment area, the cost involved, not everybody can afford. We must admit.
Managing Director of the company, Kwabena Ampofo-Appiah, is acknowledging this difficulty, but says their challenges will not allow them to sell below a certain commercial rate unless they receive more governmental support.
We have a number of challenges which include land acquisition, especially in the Greater Accra region. Currently, we are building in almost all the regions of Ghana. Thankfully, the government, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, has given us the green light in terms of the new development in Boku, where the government is providing us with the roads, electricity, water, etc. That is reducing considerably the cost of our buildings. So that would mean that the end users are also going to benefit from the cost savings.
So this 3-bedroom family house cost 950,000 Ghana cedis. And some MPs have concerns that the ordinary Ghanaian may not be able to afford and buy this. But of course, the State Housing Company has been explaining that they've been borrowing commercial. Whatever they have been doing is on a commercial basis. They buy land, they buy cement, whatever it is that they use to construct this is on commercial basis, and they have to sell to be able to be commercially viable to pay their bills. But 950,000 cedis, MPs are concerned that they themselves, some of them may not be able to afford to buy these houses. The watches seller, the nurse, the teacher, can they afford to buy a 950,000 Ghana cedis house? Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante.
Now, barely 3 months after Joy News aired the One District Some Factories hotline documentary, the government has started rolling out interventions aimed at resolving the challenges bedeviling the policy. One of the factories that was badly affected was the APEB Cylinder Manufacturing Company Limited, located at Ewutu Boku. Over 200,000 cylinders were locked up at the factory because the company was facing an unhealthy competition from a foreign company. The producer of the documentary, Richard Kojunyako, went back to the factory to find what has changed. Here's what he found.
And so now, if you come to our factory, boss, you'll be shocked. We are now getting to almost close to 200,000 cylinders. We cannot send one out because of what these guys are doing. These Chinese, they just came in, took over the market, cut the price down, and probably they are doing this for some time. So they realized that the Ghanaian factories have died down.
This was the situation with the APEB Cylinder Manufacturing Company, one of the companies under government One District One Factory located at Ewutu Boku. The company was limping badly, and the thought of shutting it down became very imminent.
China developed their country, they blocked everybody, and they developed their country. Deliberate policies, protecting themselves and making sure they got to where they are. Now they are rich and they are now hitting us.
The chief executive of the company was distraught, broken, and felt all hope was lost. But today, the narrative has changed.
So it's been 3 months after Joy News premiered our hotline documentary, One District, Some Factories. We are back here at the APEB Gas Cylinder Manufacturing Company here at Ewutu Boku.
Following your documentary recently on the challenges that we're faced with, by the grace of God, as we speak, our stock levels have gone down. The markets have started responding. Your documentary got the government to take some actions, and as we speak, now the pricing levels have come to a normal level, and so we are all playing in the field. They are still in the markets. We are competing, but this is what we expected competition should be all about, not for somebody to be unduly be taking advantage. So we are grateful to you and also grateful to the government for taking these immediate steps and bringing us back to life.
The workers are busy putting metals on metals to produce the cylinders. The CEO, Philip Asifo, couldn't thank Joy News enough for producing the documentary that has changed a situation that affected the economies of the local community and the businesses of many.
The information I got was that the president himself saw the documentary and he wasn't happy at all about what he saw. So immediately he tasked some officials in government to ensure that the issues are resolved. And as we speak, not completely resolved, but at least to the extent that we are now able to enter the market and do our business, I think we are on course. They've also lined up a number of things they are working on our behalf. We hope everything will actually materialize. So I think so far the documentary has really sparked a very good reaction on our behalf.
Great piece of journalism there. Now, government says it has taken notice of a reportage on the state of potholes across key road networks across the country and has begun a number of maintenance works to fix them. This is contained in a statement issued by the Roads and Highways Ministry at the time Joy News is running its G8 Potholes exhibition series to highlight the devastating nature of potholes that have riddled some roads across the country. We'll bring you details of the government statement shortly, but first, let's turn our attention to the Paragon Runabout in Takoradi, where we are reporting the runabout has developed deep potholes which are creating a lot of inconveniences to motorists.
The potholes have been developed in the southern part of Runabout and northern part of Runabout are being developed. So we are waiting for eastern part of the Runabout to develop, which I think that it's a serious thing that we ought to look at. Unfortunately, we can't tie the reason why we can't do this route to Russian and Ukraine war and COVID. We can only tie it to the fact that it's a critical route that needs to be maintained.
That's Charles Mintaba, a social commentator in the Western region, lamenting how deplorable the Pargrant roundabout is currently.
This route is critically important, as I cited. As we stand here, if you want to go to any part of the city, you can go, because all roads coming from any part of the city, New Takoradi, Sekendi, Vodafone, ECG, Town, link up to the Pargrants. So that is why I think that it is so critical that we cannot waste time. We have to forgo other areas and ensure that this is fixed concerning the critical nature of this route.
The Pargrant roundabout is a very critical route in the Sekendi Takoradi metropolis. It connects most part of the city to the Takoradi Harbour, two important hospitals, the Gapoa and European hospitals. It also connects the ECG regional office, the GMPC operational headquarters, GASEM, and the main market center, among several other important places in the metropolis. The sad story, however, is that the stretch is riddled with potholes. This hole was once small, but it was ignored for several months and has now widened into a huge one, best described as a king-size bed capable of accommodating more than 2 adults. There is even one that has deepened and collects so much when it rains that it looks more like a swimming pool.
So this is the Pargrant roundabout here in the Sekendi Takoradi metropolis, named after one of Ghana's founding fathers, Pargrant, George Pargrant. But as we speak, how do we as a country intend to honor his memory? What we've decided to do is to honor him with potholes. Like you see behind me, several potholes surround this roundabout. Our government is today responding to these series that Joy News is running and says a lot is being done. In a statement released by the Roads and Highways Authority, it says the attention of the Ministry of Roads and Highways has been drawn to the concerns being raised by the public and some sections of the media regarding potholes which have emerged on some roads in the country as a result of recent heavy rains. The ministry wishes to state that generally significant volumes of work are being done to expand the nation's road network and undertake routine and periodic maintenance on existing ones. The rainy season always causes some deterioration to some old roads, which are then quickly attended to through the ministry's emergency maintenance program. Now, it says the ministry wishes to assure the public that measures are being put in place to address these critical sections of roads which have gone bad throughout the country upon the onset of rains. For instance, in Accra, maintenance works are currently ongoing at the following locations: Teshi Shibleo Road and the Fertilizer Road. So that's the information coming in from the Ministry of Roads and Highways there. We'll be keeping an eye on that and we'll be reporting back to you any other details that we do get. For now, though, we'll break and bring you Showbiz. Well, the queen of Showbiz is here to give us the latest from the world of Showbiz. Becky Bex. Hiya.
Hello, Queen of Showbiz is here. Look at me, all beautiful. Well, Brace, let's get straight to business. Okay. That's about the chairperson of the United Concerned Members of GAMRO, Kusei Japan. She has given the CEO of GAMRO, Abraham Ajeti, a 2-day ultimatum to provide proof to an allegation he made against her. Speaking at a press conference organized by the group in Accra earlier today, Akosia said Abraham has alleged that she had formed a new group for spinners and was taking royalties from them.
on their this thing with their press conference that they did, Majete came to say on authority that I have registered a company that is a Spinners Association, and they are collecting money for me. And he said I'm saying it on authority that Akoso Japan has formed as a Spinners Association, and they are collecting money for me. And I haven't done that, and I will never also do that, because I'm the same person who is telling them not to pay. So I don't know why I'm telling them not to pay, and I'll form an association. So I'm giving them 48 hours. If it doesn't come back to show the papers I should have registered, and doesn't come back to come and apologize, I'm telling you, he will meet me in court. And I mean it, because he's trying to spoil my name, and I don't want that.
Speaking about the Attorney General's decision to renew GAMRO's license and the need to sanitize the organization, Akusia said the only way to make GAMRO work is for the AG to call for mediation between the two parties.
Rex rightly said on one of your sister stations, he actually said that the way they are even exceeding the money that they're supposed to use, their license can be taken from them. Now, since 3rd April 2022, the license was taken away from them because they didn't do the right thing. And the right thing needs to be done. So, till the right thing is done, the license will not be given to them.
So according to Rex Soma, they still have the power to take royalties, but they can't distribute. What do you say to that?
No, it's not right. You cannot collect royalties without license. You cannot collect royalties. If you do that, as we showed you the how do you call it? The LI, showing that without license you cannot collect. So you cannot collect and put it down. You are supposed to collect and share, and let us know the monies that you are collecting. They are not doing it. At the same time, they are supposed to be between 10 and 30%. They are not doing that. So their license will not be given to them until we go back to the mediation report, and then everything will start taking its shape.
You've given Abraham Ajate, the CEO.
Kusi Japan right there, still looking beautiful as always. Grace, have you seen Black Sheriff's new video?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen
Show me and I'll
Oil
go and
in
watch.
My Head?
I haven't, because I've been looking forward to that video.
Well, for you and for the viewers, please, Oil in My Head by Black Sheriff. I know, beautiful song.
A part where it says a man doesn't stay down when he falls.
Yeah.
Get up and come for more.
Wow.
That's inspirational. Yeah, every man needs that.
I'm touched by, your words.
That's
actually
Black Sheriff's word.
Black Sheriff's word. Well, today we have Throwback Thursday. Guess who we're throwing back? Who? Guess who?
I can't guess anyone.
Nicholas Omanie Champon. But this song is actually dedicated to the Chief State Attorney at the Attorney General's office. She's called Dr. Sylvia Edusu. This is for you. I know that you love the show. We love you too. We'll come visit very soon. But so this is for you. It's Nicholas A. Champong. He was born on the 4th of March, 1974. His style and the way he carries himself in the music industry sets him apart from his peers. His Tabita Kum is what you're throwing back on. You have to love it.
And to our own Nicholas as well.
Yeah, Nicholas. You're Nicholas. This is Nicholas.
All right, anyway. Thanks for being with us. But before we go, remember
to brush your teeth before you go to bed this evening and tomorrow morning when you wake up from bed with either Pepsodent 5 tab, Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection.